The inspiration came really from the fact that in 15 years of studying music, I hadn't played a single piece written by a woman. And usually, when I ask people around me to name me one woman who composed classical music, people just go silent.
And actually looking through the album, I hadn't heard of many of the composers.
I think what I try to do with this album is to really go and search women that we've never heard before. And I think even some people who are into classical music haven't heard of certain ones, like Cinquina Gonzaga. She was a composer from Brazil. She got married, and her husband got jealous of her career and asked her to choose between him or her music. To which she replied, "I cannot live a life without harmony," and she divorced him. And
it was quite a scandal at the time, wasn't
it? She was completely then alone financially, so she composed and sold the music to be able to survive, and she became one of the most prominent composers in Brazil.
And tell us about Ilse Weber.
I think she's a hero. I mean, she was so courageous. She really just sacrificed her life to go with the children in Auschwitz because she didn't want to leave them. She was
a nurse in the
She was a nurse in the camp, and she was first in a camp called Theresienstadt, and then the kids were sent to Auschwitz, and she went together with them, really as a volunteer. And she was writing and composing a lot when she was in the prisoner camp. And before she left, her husband took all the music that she'd composed and buried it and hid it. And after the war, I mean, she was killed, but her husband came back to the camp, digged the music out and published it.
Just give us a little snatch of some of her music. You hope that this album will bring composers like Ilse Weber to greater prominence.
Yeah.
But things seem to be going backwards if the most recent report on orchestral repertoire, for example, is to be believed.
What I've seen is that people, even within the music industry, and I've seen a lot of people who follow me on social media who've been asking me for the scores of the music that I'm, starting to come out from this album, wanting to play it.
But do you think the music world is still quite sexist? I mean, you've experienced sexism in that world, haven't you?
When I was, I must have been 13 years old, and I had never seen a woman conduct an orchestra. And I asked one of my teachers to say, how come is there no woman conducting? And he said to me, with a lot of confidence, to be a conductor, you need to be respected by all the members of the orchestra, and that can only be a man.
Wow. Given there are such huge problems with classical music and access to classical music, budget cuts mean that a lot of kids in school don't see classical music at all. Do you see social media as a way through that you can reach a wider audience?
I see it at my concert. I see little girls and more children at my concerts, and little girls coming up to me and say, I started to play the violin, I watch your YouTube videos, and that's really wonderful.
Esther Abrami, thank you very much for joining us.